If there's one thing a lot of folks, fans of entertainment, mostly animation, have made very clear in the past several weeks, if not the past month, is the fact that they are not thrilled with what David Zaslav and his crew are doing at Warner Bros. Discovery. And what they are doing is they are taking a lot of popular animation IPs, some that are already established and have aired and have been seen and all that, and they are basically axing them, if you will, axing them from, the quota, or from their, I guess you could say, the protection. They're basically, cutting them loose and not wanting to have anything to do with them, to a point, because there are some properties that they are shopping around or will be allowed to shop around because there is still potential for them. And because of that potential, there's no doubt in my mind they may bring them back, but they want to probably see how they'll do elsewhere. Like, for example, Batman the Caped Crusader is one of those shows that, was on the verge of being on HBOMAX, but now it's going to land someplace else. Where that will be, that's totally up to whoever decides to spend the money to bring it on board. Now, other shows like Infinity Train. Infinity Train is probably the biggest surprise of them all. It is the biggest surprise of them all. Why? Because Infinity Train has a large fan base. People enjoy the show. But it seems that now that David Zaslav and his crew have taken over, Infinity Train pretty much is going to kick the bucket. In other words, they're disassociating themselves from the Infinity Train IP and franchise and moving in a different direction, so to speak. That's pretty much what it is. They are moving in a different direction, for the time being, or at least moving forward. But it's not just Infinity Train either. There's a lot of other shows. OK, Let's Be Heroes, it has been slashed. Other cartoons, adult animations, that people were getting behind have been slashed. But the thing is, it doesn't mean they're totally gone. It just means, the new regime at Warner Bros. Discovery doesn't want to have anything to do with them. They don't want anything to do with them. The only animation, obviously, they want to have anything to do with is animation that was made exclusively at Warner Brothers. And we're not just talking DC and all that, no. We're talking like Looney Tunes or Looney Tune inspired programming, stuff like that. Which is why, when you look at, the Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny Builders, and how that's got a pulse. You look at the fact that Looniversity of Tiny Toon Looniversity, has a pulse. Animaniacs is still riding high. It's because of the fact that they are Looney Tune inspired programming and have a proven track record of an audience getting behind them. Now you might say, well, what about the other Looney Tunes stuff that they had planned, like the new Looney Tunes shorts? Well, again, that right there, the new Looney Tunes series going into a new season, it's still okay. It's still up in the air. Its shorts are fine. But when you're talking about the movies that they had planned or the specials, that's another thing. But it looks like they'll still be okay as well, because it looks like they will head to what's known as the Acme night on Sunday nights, the Acme block on Sunday nights, to be shown there before potentially going back to HBO Max or potentially going to Boomerang instead. But going back to what I said, the one out of all of them that's gotten people, just upset, PO'd, if you will, is Infinity Train. Because of the fact that Infinity Train proved, at one point to be a very very popular IP, very successful, IP for Warner Brothers. It proved all that. At one point, it proved to be all that and more at one of several points. But now it's gone. Now it's gone from the Warner Brothers catalog. It has ceased to be. In fact, some people like SaberSpark have said that they have gone as far as to not even have it on the YouTube page. But why? Why would David Zaslav and Kathleen Finch and all of them want to get rid of such a moneymaker? Why would they want to do that? Well, quite honestly, in my opinion, there's only one reason. You see, Zaslav, even though he's trying to salvage, some money financially for the studio and, enable them to have a more financial successful year going into 2023, it's the first full year under the regime. He is, along with maybe Kathleen Finch, listening to the wrong people. The wrong kind of people that are probably very old school. Like, they don't understand the fact that animation can be for everybody, not just for one person or for one demographic, but for everybody. And that's what Infinity Train proved to be, a show for everybody. But apparently, some people, like let's say Kathleen Finch, if she's one of these people, probably told David, no, I don't want to have this on it. I don't want to see this on HBOMAX. I don't want to see this on Cartoon Network because it's not a cartoon for kids. It's a cartoon for adults. And why? Because of what? Because of the imagery, the storytelling that it had? I mean, again, that's just a prime example of animation is for everybody. But, with that said, however, it does seem like it is not going to be in the future of Warner Brothers Discovery. It is not. It's not going to be in the future of Warner Brothers Discovery. So what will the future hold then for Infinity Train? Well, obviously they have a massive fan base, and a lot of people want to know exactly what the future lies for it. And there's a lot of streaming services out there that would love to probably take Infinity Train on board. Netflix might want to say, hey, let us become the exclusive home for you. Paramount Plus, Amazon Prime, Peacock. They might all, Apple Plus, if you will. They might all come on board and say, hey, let us take it. Heck, Roku channel may say, let us take it. Let's see, what else? Retro Crush, if you will, Funimation, now Crunchyroll, Sony may say, hey, let's incorporate it into our potential new service. There's a lot of potential new homes for Infinity Train to land. So I have no doubt in my mind Infinity Train is going to land somewhere. But where they land is all going to depend on who wants to shelve out that extra money to bring it on board. And by bringing it on board, also want to have some that they believe is going to get attention on their service. And in my opinion, I think the top three contenders for Infinity Train to have a new streaming service, as its home, as its platform, the top three contenders, in my opinion, are Paramount Plus, Apple TV Plus, I should say, and Peacock. Those are the ones that I think are the more likely ones out of everybody else to want to bring it on board. Now you might say, well, what about Disney Plus? Disney Plus is getting a little bit more mature, a little bit more edgy and all that. What if they want to bring it on board? Hey, they want to do that, that's fine. They've proven themselves, that being Disney, that they can go in that direction. They could take risk. I mean, look at Gravity Falls. Look at Amphibia. Look at The Owl House. Even DuckTales, the new rebooted DuckTales. Look at these shows, for example. These are all prime examples of Disney, taking it to that next level and not being afraid to do so. So, could they be a potential new home? Maybe. But I'm looking at the fact that I'm looking at the fact that there are other services out there that could benefit more from something like, a show like Infinity Train being part of the service. I'm looking at services that want that subscription number to go up. And even though Infinity Train is just one show, and it will bring in new subscribers, maybe not as much, it still will get people's attention to be like, oh, wow, I didn't know Infinity Train was now on Paramount Plus, or oh, wow, I didn't know it was on Apple TV Plus, or Peacock, if you will. Now, those are the top three, in my opinion. Those are the top three. The other ones, like the bottom two, Disney Plus and Amazon. Yeah. Disney Plus and Amazon to me are more like, potential runners up. Like if one of the other top three that I've mentioned, drops out, then one of those two could take over. So to me, the top three, like I said, for Infinity Train to have a new potential home, Paramount Plus, Apple TV Plus, and Peacock, with, the two runner-ups being Disney Plus or Amazon Prime. So if you want to look at it as the top five, Paramount, Apple TV Plus, Peacock, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime. Netflix I could see as a wild card. Like it's just sitting in the wings, waiting for its opportunity. That's how I see it. But, in my opinion, the top three, I think, are the more than likely ones to try for it, to vie, if you will, for Infinity Train to be part of the service. And by vying for it, not only would they be bringing it on board, they could potentially financially allow it to have more seasons. And maybe even allow the creators to go a lot further than they've done before. So I believe Infinity Train, in my opinion, it's going to have a new home. There's no doubt. There's no way the creators behind Infinity Train are going to be like, hey, we're just going to lay back, sit back, and do nothing about this. They're doing something about it. Or they will. Believe me, they will do something about it. Because you think they like the idea of one of the successful shows that they've ever done. You think they like the idea that David Zaslav and his crew is pretty much erasing it from existence? No. No, they don't. And to me, I believe that they will do whatever it takes to get that show back on the air, back on a streaming service where they know people will watch it. And to me, the top three candidates are Paramount Plus, Apple TV Plus, and Peacock, with the runners-up of Disney Plus and Amazon Prime kind of filling out mainly like a top five, with Netflix being on the outside looking in as a wild card. But yeah, I think Infinity Train will get its wings back. It will. Potentially. It will. I'm just checking something on my computer right now. It will get its wings back. It will get its engine going again, if you know what I mean. And it's going to be all thanks to one of those three, potentially five services that I've mentioned. That's the truth. That's the truth. So I think they're going to find a way. They'll find a way to get back on the air, get back on a streaming service. When and where, that's totally up to whoever decides to shell out the money to make it happen. But what do you guys think? Where do you think Infinity Train, the creators behind it are going to try to land, kind of try to rebuild the tracks for it, I should say, at? Where do you think they're going to try to rebuild the tracks? Do you think Paramount Plus? Do you think, Apple TV Plus? Do you think Peacock? Do you think those could be considered top three contenders? Or do you think the runners-up that fill out a top five of Disney Plus and Amazon Prime could be potential contenders? And do you think Netflix could be that wild card that, spoils everything and, just comes out of nowhere and acquires it? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Check out my Teespring store. Also check me out at BW Rose's Discussion, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also check me out at Venmo at Brian-Homer-2 to support me there, and at Cash App at BW Roses 98. Also check me out at Vimeo at BW Roses for content you can't get anywhere else. Also check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses. Roses with a $1, $3 tier. And check me out at DeviantArt check me out at DeviantArt.com/BVW1979. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And until then, I'll talk to y'all later. But yeah, I'd like to hear how you feel about this and where do you think Infinity Train will land. Let me know down below and in the live chat during the premiere. And I'll talk to y'all later.